Find the radius of the circle. Hence, what is the length CD? Join line E, F. Use cosine rule. For triangle ECF, the square of line E, F equals the sum of the square root of line C, E and the square of line C, F minus 2 times the product of line C, E and the line C, F times cosine 75 degrees. Substitute values and we have that. It implies that the square of line E, F equals the sum of the square of 6 and the square of 4 times the square root of 5 minus 2 times the product 6 and the 4 times square root of 5 times cosine 75 degrees. Simplify and we have that. The square of line E, F equals 116 minus the product of 12 and the square root of 13 minus the square root of 10. We call it equation 1. Locate the center O of the circle. Join line O, F and line OE, each equals to R is the radius of the circle. It follows that angle EO, F equals 2 times angle C which equals to 150 degrees. It is because angle at center is twice that at the circumference of the circle. Use cosine rule. The square of line E, F equals 2 times the product of the square of R and 1 minus cosine 150 degrees. It implies that the square of R equals the square of line E, F divided by the product of 2 and 1 minus cosine 150 degrees. Take the square root of the equation. We obtained a new equation as shown on the screen. We call it equation 2. Hence, R is approximately equals to 4.86195899 in units. Join line O, D equals to R and line D, F. Triangle D, O, F. Angle D, O, F equals the product of 2 and angle C which equals to 90 degrees. It follows that DOF is a right triangle and line O, F equals line O, D which equals to R. Use Pythagoras theorem. The square of F, D equals 2 times the square of R. Take the square root of the equation. Line FD equals the product of R and the square root of 2. Substitute equation 2 for R. It implies that line F, D equals the product of the square root of 2 and 4.861958899 which equals to 6.875848434. Consider triangle D, C, F. Let line C, D equals Y. Use cosine rule. The square of line F, D equals the sum of the square of line C, D and the square of line C, F minus 2 times the product of line C, D and line C, F times cosine 45 degrees. Substitute values. It implies that the square of 6.875848434 equals the value shown on the screen. Simplify and we have that 47.2772939 equals the sum of the square of y and 80 minus 12.649111064 times y. Combine like terms and rearrange terms in one side of the equation. We obtained a new equation as shown on the screen. Simplify this equation, and we have that the square of y minus 12.649111064 times y plus 32.72277097 equals to 0. Solve for y using general quadratic equation formula. That is, y equals 12.649111064 plus or minus the square root of the square of 12.649111064 minus the product of 4 and 32.72277097 times 1. All divided by 2 times 1. Simplify, and we have that y is approximately equals to 3.6269099 or 9.02220064. It implies that y equals 3.63 units or y equals 9.02 units to 2 decimal places. But y equals line CD. Since line CD is less than line CF, which is less than line CE, it implies that line CD is not equals to 3.63 units. Therefore line CD equals 9.02 units to 2 decimal places.